You're watching Experience Comic Culture and Sales, streaming live daily to Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter.
Hi, everybody. This is going to be Talking Shop, where we're going to get to have a lot of fun getting to talk to the creative team behind the new original graphic novel, Altered Carbon. And after that, we'll get to talk to Dr. Christy Blanche about some good boy stuff. Stay tuned. That's up next. Everybody, this is the most fun that I have all week long because it's kind of a little bit trippy too, because I in the morning take care of my FOC orders, which lets me know what's coming out 3 weeks from now. So then I have to reset my brain about what's a local comic shop owner. So I know that I am focused on what's coming out this week, and I know that you as comic book readers are super interested in what's coming out, so that you know in time to tell your local comic shop, hey, I need that book put on my list so I don't miss it. And today, our first guests are doing an amazing original graphic novel. It's part of a series for Altered Carbon. But first, I'm going to talk to them about a bunch of other fun stuff that they've worked on. And they're awesome people. Everyone welcome, Scott and Max.
Yo.
Hello.
Hello, everybody. How is everything in your neck of the woods? You got good weather today?
Yeah, it's all good.
Here's great. Yeah.
So where do you guys hail from? What part of the country or outside the country are you from?
I'm in New Jersey. Max is
outside the country, see?
Yeah, Max is in Florida.
Florida, yes. Which is sort of a sovereign nation in some ways.
Yes, Texans believe the same for ourselves. So, we reserve the right at any point to just say, no, we're just going to be our own thing.
Absolutely. The Lone Star.
So you guys are over probably as far east as you can get. So I love hearing that you guys are having good weather, because it can get all kind of chaosy, because we'll have a morning where it's bright and sunny, and then it rain takes out our electric grid for the afternoon. It's kind of crazy. Do you guys get that kind of stuff? I know Florida gets fires for fun.
We get fires. Yeah, we got some fires and plenty of rain and hurricanes and everything like that. Mm-hmm. The particular town I live in is one of very few that has its own electric grid that the rest of the state does not. The rest of the state has theirs, and our stupid little town has our own grid, and it goes out all the time. There was an actual case of an iguana getting fried on one of the transformers that knocked out the whole town for 2 days.
That sounds so much like a small town tale.
It's our little beach community.
So you are actually out at the on the fringes. Where are you? Gulf side,
Atlantic side, yeah.
Atlantic side. What awesome! If I lived in Florida, I would never get anything done, because I would always be at Epcot and doing Mission to Mars over and over again and wigging people out.
That was the best.
I don't know if you guys have ever done this. If you can get yourself 4 people together and go make sure you end up in the same places in line all the time at that ride, you can go on there and freak the 5th person all the way out by enacting your own scenario while they're listening to what's supposed to be going on in the ride. We actually have plans to get actual space suits and go do that sometime, but I don't think they allow anyone to be in costume but the actual park people, which is boo.
I don't know. Cosplayers have rights too.
It's true. It's how do you know that I don't identify as an astronaut?
Sure.
Totally do it.
Free country.
Right, let's talk about creating things. All right. We're not going to talk right away about what's coming out this week, because I want everyone to be totally heads up about things that you guys are also working on. It looks like, Max, you just finished up a very successful Kickstarter for a book we're gonna lovingly call Mother Effing Effer.
Sure.
Which I think you need to have a variant of, just for me.
We could make that happen. I have a modest pile of a variant cover I offered as a part of the campaign, and some people did get, but when people are buying it from my online store, they want the original cover, and that's what they want. So these variants are basically becoming a rare item in the world because I still have all the copies.
That's crazy. See, in my world as a store owner, I see people be more focused on getting like the most rare or unique thing especially if they're getting it from the creator. So that's like a mind-blowing fact.
Well, I think the whole project was kind of rare and unusual already, that people just wanted the baseline experience. Anything more would have been too much for their nervous systems.
Does seem like an intense book. What's the pitch for the book?
The pitch is it's a wrestling romance story about a giant purple luchador whose name we cannot say, which also graces the cover of the book. Mm-hmm. And it's about his turbulent romance with his lady love, Tygoria Killblood, as it is constantly interrupted by the drama of the wrestling ring.
See, this sounds like it's a perfectly timed thing, because I can't tell you how much my staff is in love with all things wrestling. So sure. I think why not have a romance? Why not?
I think that's lacking in a lot of wrestling comics. Is the human element.
Yeah, I think you've got it sold to, that's either Jay or Kyle. It's on the production staff. That's like, yes.
Come on over at themaxfuchs.com. I have stock. Buy the variant cover.
We'll have to talk afterwards. So I think I'm definitely going to have those for sure. Yes, okay, please. So weird things I saw on your page that I am also super intrigued with. I am a Dodge Ram owner, and I saw that you worked on some Dodge Ram. Like, was that just like test shot stuff, or did they use it?
So I do a lot of storyboard work for advertising, and I would say 9 times out of 10, I never find out if the ad is made. I don't know if that ad in particular was made. I've done maybe 3-4 Ram jobs. So essentially, I'm doing the work for an advertising agency, which is then going to pitch to the client. In that case, it would have been Dodge, and the client is either going to buy the ad or they're going to buy it from another agency. A lot of times there'll be competing pitches. So basically, the stuff I do is just for the eyes of whoever's in that boardroom or that Zoom call, and a lot of it doesn't get turned into any kind of real world content. But sometimes I do. Occasionally I'll see one.
Well, I'm sad now because I thought it was going to be like a take on me kind of video, like the old school, like where it looks like the comics coming alive.
Well, maybe they'll do something like that in the future. Who knows?
I'm of course drawn into those kinds of things. Being a comic book reader, I like things that look like that. So
absolutely.
So how did you get started in doing that in that industry?
Doing the storyboards. It was a pretty classic case of somebody I had gone to art school with ended up, working at one of these agencies, and some job came up, and he just happened to think of me or had been looking at my Instagram or something, and did the one job. And then 6 months later, another job comes up, and then I'm being referred to somebody else. And over the course of maybe 7 or 8 years, I've built up a little stable of clients that keep me relatively employed.
That's awesome. It's like I didn't even know that was like an actual, like, outside of the company itself, that it would be a job that they would hire out. I just thought there was somebody on staff for every single company that was like.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's pretty similar to the world of comics, where the people that are making the actual images and writing the stories are not on any kind of staff. You're You're on your own out there.
That's true. You gotta. It's like Greco-Roman fighting. You have to fight for your spot.
Yeah, you gotta fight for your crust of bread.
Well, Scott, I have a question for you about something that I saw. I tried to figure it out, but I didn't get any good information on it. What was the DC round robin that I saw that you had posted a lot about? That you had a story that was for. Is that something that people submit things for, and everyone votes on which ones they like the best?
Yeah, it was DC doing a bunch of competing pitches, and the fans got to vote for which one. It was bracketed like March Madness. Fans got to vote for which one they wanted to win. I did a Alan Scott Green Lantern pitch with Skylar Patridge, and we got through the first round, and then we got crushed by Superboy, who ended up winning the whole thing. So,
Man,
we made it. We made it through one round. So, but we are doing 6 pages from it that are going to be in somewhere down the line that are going to show. So you'll be able to see a little bit of it if it doesn't actually get greenlit into a series at some point, which it could still, I suppose.
I think that's a brilliant thing for them to do, to be able to kind of see. Just it's a kind of a way for them to see a bunch of pitches from people that are talented. And,
yeah, it was cool. It was cool to be asked. Yeah.
And was it open to anyone to submit, or was it like you say that they had to tap you on the shoulder?
Yeah, they sort of curated who they asked, and I wrote the Pennyworth series for them. So the same editor on that book asked me to pitch for this, or asked me to well, it is a pitch, but it's a pitch that has some actual finished pages attached to it. So that's how that came about.
Let's talk about Pennyworth, because that was a very successful miniseries, and I kind of wondered if you came to them with like an idea, or they just said, "Here's a character, write something cool for that character."
Yeah, no, they asked me. I've written a little bit of Batman. I've done a few crime stories, and they wanted something that had a sort of a crimey spy feel to it. And they pretty much gave me free reign. They gave me 2 or 3 little things they said that I needed to either avoid or do, but they were very small. And the cool thing was, there's so little of Alfred Pennyworth's history that's ever told in DC's comics that I really had a lot of room to just make things up and sort of. I pitched it as like Pennyworth Year 1, and we went with it because it takes place both in his childhood, his young adulthood, which is the period of the TV show, and then present day Pennyworth. So that was a lot of fun, and there was very little. I was very worried I would have to tie into like TV continuity, but there was very little of that. Very little, maybe 1 or 2 names changed, but for the most part, they sort of turned me loose and let me go. I had a lot of fun on that book.
And what did you know when you started how long this series was going to be? So you had to kind of like time out the storyline?
Yeah, well, originally it was going to be 14 weekly 10-page digital issues. And that's how I wrote the first 12 chapters. And then it got changed to 7 issues in print. So I had to do a little work to combine the books to combine the chapters so that they wouldn't have a big obvious cliffhanger right in the middle of the issue. Right. But yeah, I generally, the way I don't really write anything until I know what happens on every page of the book for the most part. I really map everything out to make sure that I get the pacing right, and to make sure that all the beats hit where they're supposed to, and that we get the cliffhangers where we want to have them.
Do you have any indication? Do they ever tell you how they make those decisions about if they're going to go to print or if they're going to be digital only?
I never even knew why it was 7 issues. That's such a strange length for a miniseries. I didn't complain because I 6 issues is pretty normal. So, but I was like, hey, I'll take 7. That gives me more room to tell the story. Yeah, I never was really privy to any of the behind the scenes stuff about it. I just tried to go with the flow and do the best story I could, given whatever constraints they gave me.
I always kind of like envision a giant like chalkboard in their planning offices for how many books release on which week and those kinds of things. Just imagine them getting to like issue 6. Nope, we got an extra hole for the next week. Give that man some more book.
I'll take it. I like it.
Oh my goodness. And you've got stuff that's coming a little bit farther out. There's 2 of which I wanted to talk about. One was you get to do a graphic novel adaptation of Gaiman's work Interworld. How freaked out are you about that?
Well, it's already written. And the funny thing was, so Neil Gaiman and Michael Reeves wrote this book in, I think, 97 called Interworld as part of a trilogy, as like a young adult novel. And HarperCollins got in touch and asked me to pitch to write a graphic novel adaptation of it. And they said, can you just write 25 sample pages and we'll take a look. So I did. And I sent them in and they said, okay, we'll send them over to Neil and Michael now and see what they think. And I hadn't had any nerves and I hadn't even thought about it. I just assumed that, Neil Gaiman has better things to do. Right. And then when she said that, I was like, oh no, and I was like, oh no, like what have I done? Right. I started thinking of everything that was bad, that I did wrong or I should have done better. But then she got back to me fairly quickly and said they thought it was great. So that's long. It's 300 pages. So that is not going to be out till 2025. But I'm pretty excited about that one. It's an honor to get to adapt something of his.
Is that the most nervous you've been for something you've submitted?
No, because nerves are generally in advance. I wasn't nervous when I sent that in. It was only after that I got nervous when they told me they were going to show it to Neil Gaiman. No, I get nervous pretty much all the time when I send stuff in because it's the second you hit send, you realize how bad it is, and how much it sucks, and how you've just done a terrible job. And if anybody ever hires you again, it'll be a miracle. That's pretty much how it feels every time you send a script in. So, it's all about just having nerves all the time, being nervous.
Max, are you that kind of like artist? Because almost everybody that I know that is a creative feels the same way. That it's never going to be perfect and it's never going to be complete. If you just like had to train yourself to be like, it is what it is now, or you're just like, this is perfect all the time.
Yeah, no, it's the latter. That's me. Everything I do, golden. No, I think we all hate the last thing we did and just so desperate to do the next thing so we can, we could take that chip off our shoulder for one day. I'm going to prove myself on this one, that last one. Please, nobody see that last one. Don't see me. Don't see me. It's the imposter syndrome, I think, full blown.
Yeah, and I'll say it as a writer, I talk to a lot of artists, and you can always tell the good ones who really take it seriously because they start apologizing to you immediately about how bad the pages they just showed you were. Every time, without a doubt. Hey, listen, I just need to tell you, these pages I sent you, I can do better, right? Like, and you're like, these are amazing, So it's definitely something that people who take their craft seriously, it's something that I think it happens to all of us because we just think like, we have the people we look up to, and then we look at what we do, and you're always aiming, to be better and to do better. So. There's always a lot of nerves,
I think it's baked in for a lot of people, whether it's people in the creative field, or I think even if you're trying to start any kind of business or, do things for yourself, at some point in your life, somebody told you were wrong to do that, or like you can't do that, or, you're no Neil Gaiman. What are you thinking? So even though we have to like internalize those things, where I think our type of people are still driven to try to get better and get it on the next one, like I said.
Yeah, I bet you even if we talk to people that are like, I don't know, Jim Lee or those guys, I bet you they still have those thoughts too. When they turn something in, they're like, someone's going to look at this and they're going to find something they don't like.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, Jim. I mean, Jim Lee won't say that to any of us, but
No.
he probably says it behind closed doors.
Yeah, I never find any errors in his stuff, but I'm not an artist myself, so he could slide anything by me. I wouldn't know. All right, so Scott, the other thing I wanted to talk to you about just says, like, I kind of feel like sometimes when people make creations that they have a hat and that they write a bunch of things down on paper, different things, put it in the hat, and then pull two, and then you end up with something as an idea or inspiration for a book.
Sure.
Fast food crime sounds like one of those things in your book, True Cult.
Yeah.
Is that what happened?
That is, I mean, not exactly like that, but I'm a big fan of crime. I read a lot of crime. I watch a lot of crime movies. I love crime comics. I love true crime. And I really want to do a heist book. But heists have been done a million times. So I was just trying to think of a different kind of heist I could do. And I've always been fascinated and kind of obsessed with fast food. And I just thought, what if we make the main characters all work at a fast food restaurant and we sort of kick it off from there and we set it all in this world of fast food.
It's kind of brilliant because probably everybody has worked fast food in their life or been wait staff
or has had a shitty job with a boss they hated, and that's sort of what we're tapping into. You don't have to have worked at fast food, but you probably had a job you hated, so that's sort of how we're the irony, of course, in the book is that nobody who works there actually hates their job, which is a sort of something we kind of play with over and over again.
Well, that sounds perfect. All right. Let's talk about the cool book that's coming out this week through Dynamite. We've got a new graphic novel for Altered Carbon, which people are either exposed to the books or they're exposed to the show or both. And it's been a very successful Netflix show, and I hope they continue on and do another season of it because it's one of my obsessions. What is it like playing in the sandbox of a universe in which people don't necessarily own themselves or the body that they're inhabiting? And just essentially, like the main character, Takashi Kovacs, he finds himself all the time just being thrown through the ringer. And this ringer sounds exceptionally cool that you guys have put together. I love the idea of him being put into a very weak body. We've always seen him in kind of a much more strong body in the other series. So what was the inspiration for kind of like putting him at his weakest point?
I tried to think of something different that we could do with him. Having read the books, and just trying to think what could we do that was different. I read the first graphic novel too, because I didn't want to sort of go over any of the same ground. And it's so interesting writing, in this universe where, you can just get rid of your body and get a new one. Cause there's references we make in the book to like, someone's like, oh, if I get a cold, I get a new body. So I don't have to suffer through it. Right. Like the more money you have, there's just bodies are like Kleenex, but with Kovac, we just tried to think like, what would really be punishment for him would be having a weak body that he wasn't really in control of. And then to top it off, so he ends up and this is not really a spoiler because it happens like in the first 10 pages, but he ends up in a prison and they put him into a weak body because that is the way that they control the prisoners, so that they can't, rebel against the guards and the prison overlords.
I think the difference is in this case is that he's always been scary to me, not so much in his physicality, but he really is a smart cookie. Like he can figure out his way through situations. So I'm assuming that you're going to put that into play for this.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It becomes sort of like an ultimate test of his envoy training and abilities.
So, Max, did you put it like? Did you decide on? I haven't seen the interior of the book. Is it then if it's going to be in the prison and stuff? Are you leaning more into the dark side of the art styles?
Oh, I think if you saw the wrestling comic and any of the work from that, you're going to notice it's a very stark difference in the approach. Which Scott has known me for a while and knows me for my tendency to try to adapt the art style to the content and being more of a sort of stylistic chameleon more than like somebody, for instance, like Jim Lee, whose instantly recognizable style, even people that don't know comics would probably at least say like, oh yeah, I've seen that. It's on a t-shirt at Target or whatever. Like, I'm kind of the opposite approach philosophically, I guess, to where I'm trying to approach the artwork in the way that best suits the atmosphere of the story. And for this, I really pared everything down, simplified a lot, and made like a sort of set of rules for myself about how I was going to complete this artwork. So it really ended up being very stark, very grim, not bouncy and fun at all. A lot of hard edges.
But it's also super detailed and super bloody and
yes,
really amazing. Simplifying. I know what Max means from his perspective, simplifying, but from a reader's perspective, you're going to look at this and there's nothing simple about it. It's really detailed, really beautiful art. 120 pages of insanity, really.
It was more about taking away flair and things that are maybe a little more flamboyant. This is just line and black, scratchy, like simplified in the way that I think of Jeff Darrow. So if we're talking about me, I'm right next to Jeff Darrow. But his style, although very detailed and very complex.
This stuff has got so much hidden stuff on the page.
Exactly, yeah, a ton of detail, but he does that all with just line, right? It's just like line and maybe some black here and there. It doesn't have a lot of cross hatching. It doesn't have a lot of line weight. Nothing's like arabesque, really. It's just simple, narrowed, like a narrow focus.
So Josh is one of our viewers, and Josh is asking a question: is their reader able to jump into this if they're not familiar with the books or the show at all?
Yes. Well, yeah, I made a point of that. I made a point of that because I thought I don't want someone to feel like they have to read a novel, watch a TV show, even read the first volume of the series, and the first 10 pages get you caught up with anything you need to know. I wanted to make it. I didn't want it to be foreign to a new reader. I wanted them just to be able to jump in and then say, "Oh, this was dope. I'm going to go back and I'll read the novel now, or I'll read the other things that take place in this universe, or watch a show or whatever." But yeah, it's totally treated as a jumping on point.
And that's one of the great things about this universe, that Richard has created, Richard K. Morgan, because of the nature of how lives continue. You could do something like the story that Scott created for this, which is just pick some point in this enormous timeline and tell a story within that. It doesn't necessarily carry over directly. It's almost like you can always have new tales from any point in a vast timeline of a character lifespan.
Man, it's like is it a fun world you guys would like to go back and play in if you were allowed?
It was fun. It was fun for sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right, so everybody that's watching, this is the reason why we have the show, is now you have an opportunity to connect with your local comic shop and make sure that they pull it for you, because it's not traditional comic book. It's not going to be on the comic book part of the rack. This is going to be original graphic novel. So you're going to need to make sure that they know that you want it and you don't miss it.
Yeah. Altered Carbon, One Life, One Death, hardcover, published by Dynamite. Wednesday.
Where should people connect with you to get the other things that you guys are working on that we mentioned during the show?
You can go on my website, scottbrianwilson.com, and my social media stuff is on there. And that's it. There's like a list of everything I've worked on, all the covers. You can take a look and see what's coming up. That's probably the best way.
Perfect. Max?
You can go to my website as well, themaxfuchs.com. That's THE, themaxfuchs.com. And I'm on the social media also.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for taking some time out of your creative days to come and hang out and talk to our audience about what you're working on. I appreciate that so much.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you very much. Yes.
All right, everybody, stay tuned. We're going to take a quick break for some commercials, and we're going to come right back and talk to Dr. Christy Blanche. See you then.
This is The Experience.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hey there, hi there, hello there. You're as welcome as can be.
Hi, I'm Nancy McCann. Welcome to Friday Night Live on The Experience.
Welcome, everybody. It's Fat Jack's Comic Crypt. Brendan, Al, Jason, hanging out.
There I am. Welcome back to Kicking It with Henry, folks. I am your host, Henry Compa. It's great to be here with you guys.
So we are going to talk about books that are in stores this week.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mishmash.
Hello, and welcome to the Black Comics Universe, presented by Peep Gang Comics.
And you gotta love it that the first people in the minute to skim it are creators.
Up, everybody! Welcome to another Wednesday Warriors. My name is Joey Galvez, and this is my pal Ambrosia.
Hey, everybody! Welcome to Space Cadets.
Hey!
What's up?
Welcome, everyone, for another episode of I Must Ask You a Question.
Hi, everybody! Welcome to Nerd News Now.
Hey, this is Rex. Welcome to Comic Collectibles.
Hey, hello, all you happy people. Welcome to the Dan Wickline Show.
Hi, everybody, and welcome. This is the crazy show that we do on Thursdays called What's in the Box?
What's in the box?
Comic culture and sales.
Did you know that every Experience show, including some exclusive content, streams on Twitch? Check it out. Twitch.tv/the_EXP. Or just scan that QR code.
Hey, I'm Garrett Gunn. You might know me from Good Boy, Warcorns, Franklin and Ghost, and you're watching The Experience.
Welcome back to Talking Shop. I'm Jen King, and I'm here talking to you about comic books out of my own comic shop, Space Cadets Collection Collection. And speaking of comic shops, our next guest owns her own. Welcome from Aw Yeah Comics in Muncie, Indiana. My good friend, Dr. Christy Blanche. Who may not be here yet. That's hilarious.
Yeah, she's not here just yet.
Okay.
So
that's fine. We'll get talking about all the cool things that she does. Okay, so if you guys don't know anything about Dr. Christy, she's done a lot of really great things. Most of them are from Source Point Press. The one I remember that is the oldest or the farthest back is Charlie Wormwood, which is a really good book out of course, Source Point Press. And then started working with Garrett Gunn on a great many amazing things, including Good Boy, which was super successful. You guys probably remember seeing lots and lots of advertisement for this here book, which at its heart is really based in the world of, like, inspired by John Wick. But instead, they've reversed the kind of roles that they have. And John is a human. And this other creature, which is a dog, is Flint Sparks. And they are an assassin team. And John gets killed in the first issue. Spoiler alert. So it sets off Flint on a rampage of killing anybody that had anything remotely to do with such things. Awesome artwork by Kit Wallace. And the other cool stuff is they have like B covers. I think all of them are by Franco Villa, which was a kind of a cool thing that they got to do. And there's a lot of other things that they're working on right now. I think they're all Source Point Press books, and they all look really, really cool. I'm excited for them. And also, other cool things to know about Dr. Christie is she actually is a doctor. She has a doctorate. I don't know from which school, but I believe it's in English. And she managed to do all of that while she was working her own shop. She's I believe, works her shop pretty much on her own. She's a solo shop and does an amazing job. It's very successful. And also because of its proximity to these people, you might see Franco, who has I think Franco and Art Baltazar also have another location of Yeah Comics. So that's kind of a cool family. They get to work together on projects, but it's also because they know each other from that, which is super cool. What else? I was trying to think if I could talk to you about other books that are coming out this week real fast so that you don't miss anything. I know that last week was an X heavy week, if that makes any sense. Previous World. Let's see what is coming out this week. There's a lot. Heads up. It is Saga week for you guys. So don't miss it. It's got a really beautiful cover. It's got a beautiful, I don't know. That's those fishes that you only can put one in a tank because they'll kill each other otherwise. It's on the cover. Something is Killing the Children, 23 is also coming out this week. Department of Truth, 18. Amazing Spider-Man #2. This kind of feels like one of those books that might get missed. #1 was very successful. Oh my gosh, we've sold out of all of our orders and our reorders. And it takes place right after the series that just finished that was focused on the Beyond Corporation, where they kind of had, they took Pete, they stole basically his rights to be Spider-Man because he didn't ever have any legal rights to the name. He forgot to trademark himself. And the Beyond Corporation did. And so they basically took Ben Reilly and put him in the suit and told him what they wanted him to do. So they basically had their own superhero on their roles. And that kind of ended up at a head where you have Ben Reilly figuring out that he doesn't want to be on their, payroll anymore. And he leaves. And then you've got them trying to figure out who's going to take on the role of Amazing Spider-Man. And so this is kind of is out of that series. There is a cool book that's out this week called Devil's Reign Omega. It's a Chip Zdarsky book. So that you probably should have it because Chip Zdarsky always writes really awesome stuff. Godzilla versus Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. I will tell you that for us, especially Mighty Morphin and Godzilla has been a huge seller for us. So do remember to connect with your local comic shop, because if you don't, they might not have any on the rack for you. We have a lot of people have regrets when they come into our store because they do tend to sell out on the opening moments of the day on Wednesday. Power Rangers Universe 6 of 6 finishes up the series for the universe. Although there is, I saw on FOC, a Power Rangers Universe follow-up. Or no, sorry, that was an Unlimited that's coming out in about 3 weeks. This one looks like it's focusing in on, it's got a bunch of Green Rangers on the cover. So very popular character.
Hey, Miss Jen.
Yeah.
Dr. Christie's here.
Okay, cool. Let's have it on. Dr. Christie, come on, and I can stop just jabber John.
Hi.
I know you're busy working your shop.
Yeah. And we just put on our very first Comic-Con this weekend.
I wanted to talk to you about that a little bit. Okay, so was this like a full, like, was it in your shop? Because we do cadets,
No.
we do cadets, or is this like outside the shop?
This was at the fairgrounds. We rented the building and had like 60 vendors, maybe something like that. And we were hoping for like 200 people, and we got over 600, probably 700. So
Just
yeah,
word of mouth, or did you spend a lot of money on advertising, or?
Well, Free Comic Book Day was a couple weeks before, so we handed out flyers every time. We did some Facebook advertising, and then my daughter and my friend Mark went and put like in all the groups online. They posted it, all the Muncie groups that they're. I'm terrible with that. And then we did some Facebook advertising and like the, not Yellow Pages. What's the thing? Like the Trader, it used to be. I don't know.
Is it in the green sheet?
It's something, I don't know. But yeah, so we did all that, and Craigslist, that's it. Craigslist. Next year, the experience is coming to Muncie Comic Con, and you can't stop us. I won't stop you. We had like Mikey Mason, who did our theme song. He performs all over the country. Like people pay him to come and do his little nerd songs. And so he performed at 2:00, and we had a costume contest that had about 50 people in it. So it was kind of cool.
Did you get a chance to like do like exit surveys or anything to find out how people found out about the event, so you knew it was working well?
Well, that's what we're going to do. It was just Saturday. And then, we did have, we had Timothy's on there, which is totally cool. We had Ethan Sachs there, so that was awesome. Stuart Sager, Gavin Smith, Kyle Starks. So, and he just had the I Hate This Place come out, and Gavin's doing the interiors for the Star Trek book. So we had a lot of like cool people there. So Sunday was pretty much getting people back to where they belonged, and getting a little bit of sleep. And then it was my daughter's birthday today, so we had to take her out yesterday because we have a show tonight. So yeah, but it was cool. My little Maverick got to meet. He was dressed as Spider-Man, and he got to meet Spider-Man, and he was just like, so it was pretty cool.
I love the like kids interactions with people at conventions, especially when the person at the convention understands kind of how important they are to that interaction with a kid.
Yeah, but it was just, it was just there's a guy was helping me. He was going to come and teach me everything that I needed to do. Well, then he got sick, so he couldn't be here. So I just jumped in the deep end, and I had a lot of help. Jeff was there at like 5:30 in the morning setting up table. Well, he set up tables the night before, but he was there for load-in because we had load-in Friday night and Saturday morning. And we only had a couple no-shows, and we just had people spread out. So it was pretty cool.
So who started that kind of like idea to do it? Was it just something you guys would have been kicking around? Or did you say do this thing?
In 2020, seriously, we started talking about it, and we decided. Mike contacted me. We've been friends for a while, and he puts on comic cons all over, these little ones. And he said, you've done just about everything else. You haven't put on a show, so you need to do that. And I was like, do I? But then Muncie really needed it. So Muncie needed. They have a big nerd community, and so we thought it would be great. And then, of course, we all know what happened in 2020. David Lynch started directing it, and it just went crazy. So we tried again last year, and the timing didn't work. They didn't have space. It was just going to be a pain. So we were like, okay, this year. So we did it this year, and it was. I was so stressed, but it was so much fun. And, Jeff was such a huge help. And my daughter and my other daughter, Grace and Lindsay, were both doing the ticket counter, and taking the tickets and selling at the door. We had so many walk-ins. It was just unbelievable. And then we had somebody helping Ethan, and then we had an all yeah booth, and so we had a lot of great people. It was basically my family. I have 3 guys that are basically my brothers that always come and help. One was at the door just in case anything would happen. He's like this, tough guy. So, because my daughters are up there and I didn't want anything to happen.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear you.
Although probably Grace is tougher than he is. But it was great, and the kids all had fun, and people just seemed happy, and all the vendors seemed happy. One vendor did tell me, he said, "I'm going to be blunt," and I was like, "Oh, great."
Uh-oh.
He said, "I thought this was going to be a huge disaster."
Oh, because probably he's shown up at other ones that were.
And he said it was his 3rd best show, and the other 2 shows were 3-day shows.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, what we do in the Comic Con, yeah. Yeah, so
that would be a good one.
Yeah, so we got Muncie Comic Con, and our logo was Maverick. Tom Zoller, who he made the logo, and so it was a little Maverick. It's a little superhero. Next year he's going to have that costume. It's going to be awesome. This year he had to be Man. He had to be Spider-Man. That's all he can talk about, Spider-Man. So yeah, so it was really fun, and I'm excited to do it. I was like, just get through this year, and we don't have to do it again. But now I'm like, oh, when's the next one? I'm ready, because I learned so much, and I'm all, okay, next year we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do this, and I should have done this and this and this. And one of my friends just said, you need to just calm down, be in the moment, and enjoy, and realize we did something awesome. And I'm like, yeah, but. So
did you run both the store and the con, or did you shut the store down for con?
We shut the store down on Saturday because I just couldn't ask. I was like, yeah, Rob, could you miss the first Comic-Con we throw? And we put a sign on the door, hey, we're closed, but come on out to Muncie Comic-Con. And most everybody knew, we were going to be there. We've been talking about it. So it was pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Still haven't we've debriefed a little bit, but we're going to debrief a little more. We're going to send out some stuff to vendors and kind of ask people. We had a guy there taking pictures. He did it for free. He's going to send me all the pictures. So we're going to make a big page of that. And I think it'll be fun.
I think that's always important. I think that people that do a lot of advertising or talk about a con, I think that's their biggest mistake, is to not show people what I call people doing people things, which is having fun at your event.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We did a couple of little live videos from there, and we did I didn't know what I was doing with the costume contest. I was like, I don't know. I had judges, and we knew what we were doing for the awards, but it's like, how are we going to do this? I hadn't thought about this until this moment. So I was like, we're going to have a parade. So we did a little parade all around. So everybody got to, show off their costumes. That was kind of cool, and it just worked. So it was fun.
I like that, because then people that are stuck at their booths, like the people that have been, can actually see them.
Mm-hmm. And they can see them all together, and it was just kind of fun. So next year, again, that'll be a little bit more organized, and we'll have some food trucks. And so we already have people wanting to sign up for next year. And I'm like, let's get a date first.
That's a good sign.
Yeah.
Congratulations. That's epic.
Yeah. Some people are like, we're going to get 2 tables next year. And I'm like, we're not going to have enough room.
You might have to have some outside tables, Joe.
Yeah. Well, they have a bigger building, so we're going to see how much bigger that is and how much more it is, and see if maybe, we'll see.
I think that the best thing that I've heard is that sometimes you can get the city, if it's a smaller city, and you can reach the people in charge, if you can kind of work together. Sometimes the city will help that bill with some of they've got some incentive money that they've got around for things they think will bring more people to the city.
So it was cool. And Tim's on. He sold out of his books in like 2 hours.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it was like he was like, I can't believe this. They had this big old line. It was great. We had people dressed as Thrawn.
Oh yeah.
So it was good. It was good.
Okay, so for my shop last week, we got the director's cut of Good Boy. Was that the actual release date, or was I putting out things?
No. It was last week.
Yay!
Yeah, this one right here. Yep, that was last week. So this was so much fun to do. So Garrett, Dave, Kit, and I have a little group for Color Fiends. All right, he's going to feed the dogs. We have a little group, our little chat, and we're idiots and all the time. So this is actually, Dave has been lettering Garrett for a while. And so when he went to, Garrett and I wrote Good Boy, #1 together. And so when he went to letter it, he was like, oh, this won't take very long because Garrett doesn't write that many words, And he was like,
very well.
He sent a message. He was like, what is this? Why are there so many words? And Garrett's like, it's not me, And I was like, sorry, but I have things to say, So he's always giving me a hard time about all the words. So when he said, so speak to me about the Blund, he calls us Blund, Blanche and Gunn, the Blund director's cut. And then Garrett laughed and said, Christy's in charge of that. And Dave was like, oh, Christ. He says basically the Kickstarter with all the bonus content, and Dave put all the words. Plus, Christy's going to add some commentary. And he put, and there it is. So it was like perfect because it was like, yep, that's pretty much us in a nutshell. So we were going to do color, and I decided that we should do the black and white because you can get a color one off the shelf. And Kit is so good. I can't even get enough of his work. I mean, I wanted it black and white too. I mean, I own some of these pages. And this page here is one of my favorite pages in anything, anywhere. I love it.
Yes.
I own this page because I love it so much. I think it just kind of set the tone for the whole book.
So funny because whenever I went to go and pick my page because I bought the tier that I could get a page, I think that's the first one I put. President's like, nope. Oh,
Rusty got it. I was like, I have to have that one. And then there's ones I have from volume 2 also because Abraham is my favorite character. And then so we just did little commentary at the bottom. It's mostly Dave and I being stupid, going back and forth. And Garrett put something in, and then Kit was like, I don't know if I want to put anything. So at the end, he just put, I love working with you guys. That's Kit's addition. But you have the Tony Fleece, Eisner nominated Tony Fleece and Trish Forstner. Their backup story that was in the Kickstarter is in here. And then the one that David Boer and Alex Moore did, that's in here. And then some of the pinup galleries and everything. But they wanted to do a second print, and we wanted to do something kind of different. So instead of just a second print, so we did this.
It's the right choice.
Yeah.
Give
and
the fans a new.
It took us forever to decide what to do on the cover. We did so many different ways, and then we decided, well, this is a process, piece, so we'll show process. So that's how we decided on the cover.
So when is your Garrett Gunn road trip coming out?
When we were on the road, I would write down things Garrett would say to me. Some of them are just, it's different. So I haven't done that yet. I've got to talk to Kit because we're going to have illustrations. So,
I forgot, what was the thing that he started doing about halfway through where he was like, he'd take blanks and do really.
His garbage. He used to call him something else, but then I called him garbage sketches, and he's like, yes. So, yeah, he does the garbage sketches, and he's such a good artist. I mean, we did a variant. I'm going to try and find the picture of Little Red Ronin, and he is the artist. Kit took it and made it, all pretty and everything, and colored it and some things. But I love this cover, and I can't even believe that he doesn't think he's an artist.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. He's not.
It's amazing. I love this cover, and I was like, I want it. That's the one I want. So, so we're doing that for, and I was like, but no virgin covers because the title is so cool on it. I don't want, I like titles on my books. So, yeah.
I'm with you. It's always frustrating if you have to like open it up to figure out what in the world the book is. Because, you and I know because we're fans of the book and I ordered it or whatever, but like the public's like, I don't know. If I have to open it up, then maybe it's too much trouble.
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, hi, Chris. Thank you so much. We had so much fun on our tour. It was just ridiculous. We had a ridiculous amount of fun. It was exhausting. I wanted to sleep for like 3 days, but had to get right back into work. But it was great. We had so much fun. So ate a lot of chili.
People who have been chosen for one of the locations. You have no idea.
Yeah. We were so happy to see yours. I want to come back and see it now though, because you were in the middle of renovating, and I was just like, I could see what you were doing, and I'm like, this is going to be amazing. So I'm
mind-blowingly different. I can't believe how much difference just putting down a peel and stick floor does.
Yeah. Right. So I'm excited to come back and see it.
So what is the next? What's the next in the release schedule? Is it Little Red Ronin or?
Well, Good Boy comes out Wednesday.
Okay.
Good Boy Volume 2, number 1, and then I'm trying to. I don't know.
You can launch a lot on your slate.
Little Red Ronin comes out. I'm not writing that. I'm just editing that one. That was a story that Kit had in his mind for 10 years, and it was something that he and Garrett agreed to before I came along, before I even knew Garrett. And so, oh yeah, you do have the Maverick original. He got Maverick's first sketch.
Oh,
yeah, it was so cute. That child is the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life. So I think Little Red Ronin is next. We have Postmasters that will be coming out. Something else. Oh, Blind Justice will be coming out. Really excited for that one. It's just so ridiculous. I love it so much. And then, so we've got the volume 2. It's going to be volume 2 of Good Boy is going to be 4 issues. So because we decided we couldn't fit it in. We didn't know anybody was going to like Good Boy. We just wrote it because.
Come on.
No, we
seriously.
We're like we have no idea, but we just loved John Wick and we loved writing together. So we're like, you know what? We're just going to go for it. We're just going to write it, have fun. And it was so much fun. And so we're like, we don't care if anybody reads it. And it kind of like took off. And I think what helped it a lot was that Stray Dogs had come out. And so people were like, dogs. And I always pitch it as, reverse John Wick. We took the worst part of John Wick out. The only part of John Wick I don't like, the dog dying. And, there you go.
It's perfect. So, Nick Brucci's on telling everyone to give the thumbs up, do the likes and subscribe.
Likes.
It's always good at reminding.
Yeah, I know. I always forget to do that.
Right, we got like 1 minute left. Do you want to
okay.
Your socials? So tell people.
I'm just Christina Blanche on Facebook, and I think Christy Blanche maybe on Twitter and Instagram. I'm so bad at all that. Get volume 2, number 1. It will make you cry. It'll make you happy. It is. Have you read it yet, Jen?
No, I have not. I don't do it until release day.
Okay. When you do, you better get some Kleenex because there's a scene that just it gets me to where I called Kit and I'm like, I can't believe you did this. And he went, you wrote it. And I'm like, I don't care. It was I love it. It is. I love this story arc so much. And Abraham, when you meet Abraham, he's my favorite. I just love him. So please go out and get volume 2, number 1. And did you get one of the 1 in 100s?
I really don't know. Like my order is an automatic order from.
Yeah. So's mine, but I think they're including it in that. So, Yeah, it's a 1 in 100. So very excited. It's so cool. And it's of Abraham. So, all right. Well, thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking time out of your busy day. Thanks everyone for watching. And remember, connect with your local comic shop and make sure that those are on your pull list so you don't miss out on Wednesday.
And we have a show, What We Do in the Comic Shop, on our Facebook page coming up in 1 hour that I'm going to go and get ready for.
Head off to Facebook, y'all.
Avengers 1.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.
Join the party. Head over to our link tree to find all the links for everywhere the experience is all the time.